on the field moments ago.
Heads he calls. Tails it is. You want the ball? Which goal do you want to defend? Let's swap around, please.
Did you do any good there? Thank you, guys.
Good to see you again, baby.
You guys take it easy, man.
Houston has won the toss. They'll receive. All right, fellas, have a good
Presidents George W. Bush, George Herbert Walker Bush, honorary captains as part of a salute to the military. And this broadcast on Armed Forces Network television in 175 countries and U.S. territories. All 5 military branches are represented. We appreciate what they have done, are doing, and what the families of the military do for our great country. And a round of applause for President George W. Bush, George Herbert Walker Bush. And to add to the excitement, right on cue, Coach Billick, paratroopers arriving through. It's a good thing they had the roof open here.
They did. And all 3 of them. And these are all 3 young ladies. I was very impressed with the fact. And look at this. They're on target now. This roof, as big as it is, come skydiving in, had to look about as big as a postage stamp.
And an offensive coach would be impressed, landing right near the goal line as Matt Schaub is ready to go. And so are the fans.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I saw those skydivers, Chris. Remember now, you got that bet with Larry Fitzgerald from last week. See how easy that was?
You segued right in. Those are professionals. I wouldn't try that at home. Of course, Larry Fitzgerald, we had a friendly wager last year. If you go to the playoffs, I would skydive with him. He's holding me up to that. But here, the 49ers hope to get a leg up on the Arizona Cardinals, who are co-leaders of the NFC West. They play the Giants later this evening. Joe Nedney, the veteran, to kick it off. Andre Davis back for the Texans and game on. From the 11. Andre Davis giving the offense excellent field position for Matt Schaub. 14 touchdown passes, and that's the best in the NFL. His yardage second only to Ben Roethlisberger. And they're hoping for a healthy season. So far, so good.
Matt Schaub, Chris, is on pace, if he can stay on pace, for a 37 touchdown year. That's incredible.
And over the last 3 years, his average per attempt of 8 yards is the best in the NFL. So a 1st and 10 from just across their own 30-yard line. Steve Slayton is in the backfield. Schaub to throw it if he can. Instead, he'll get a yard or 2. And checking the lineup, the starting group for the Houston Texans, Steve Slayton, who's averaging 12 yards a catch, but only 3 yards a carry on the ground. And, of course, Andre Johnson, one of the best receivers in the game.
Yeah, and the offensive line is their big concern. Their 2 starting guards, Studdard and White, combined have 5 total starts, Chris.
And the long time, the original Texan, Chester Pitts, on the injured list for Houston. So a 2nd and 8 after a 2-yard pickup from Schaub. Slayton splits out to the left as a receiver. Schaub goes that way, and he tries to put a move on, and does for a few yards. And this 49er defense in the 3-4 alignment, and up front, Justin Smith showing great leadership there. Of course, the linebacking core, fast and active. 2-time Pro Bowler Patrick Willis, entertaining to watch.
On the back end, they've got injuries to their safeties at Mike Lewis and Reggie Smith, but Mark Roman, who's got more than 100 starts in this league, steps in. Mike Singletary and defensive coordinator Greg Minuski very confident in Mark Roman.
And coach, an early test for this 49er defense on 3rd down. We'll call it a long 5.5, 6 yards. Extra pressure. Schaub will keep and fall near the 1st down, depending upon the spot. Marcus Hudson, the reserve corner, kept him from going any further.
Looks like he's short of the 1st down marker. San Francisco believed coming in that they could put pressure on this great Houston offense with just their down 4 linemen and actually feel like they can stop the running game with their normal 7-man defense. So far, they were able to put good pressure on with just a 4-man rush.
And this hot offense coming off a big win on the road at Cincinnati stalls in the opening drive. Matt Turk, the 41-year-old punter, boots it, and fair catching. Arnaz battle right at the 20-yard line. 1st and 10. Sean Hill leading the offense. Frank Gore in the backfield. And Sean Hill goes down in the arms of Mario Williams, his 3rd sack of the season.
Well, like the San Francisco 49er defense, here's Mario Williams coming off that left side against Joe Staley. Didn't look like the line turned out at all. I don't know how you let Mario Williams come scot-free on a quick 3-step drop. That had to be a mental error or a mistake there. Mario Williams really becoming one of the premier rush ends in the National Football League.
Loss of 6, so we'll call it 2nd and 16 from the 49er 14. Crowd buzzing with defense. Frank Gore, his first carry since late September, coming off the sore ankle injury, still the leading rusher for the 49ers.
Chris, both these teams, we talked about how the 49ers felt like they could put on enough of a rush with their 4-down linemen and stop the running game with their 7-man front. Houston feels the same thing. They're as basic a defense as I've seen in a long time. They have great confidence in Mario Williams coming off the edge. They also have Antonio Smith coming off the edge. They also think they can stop the 49er running game with just their 7-man defense. That
was only the 8th sack earlier for this Texan defense this year, but an opportunity on 3rd and 14. Sean Hill, quick pass is dropped. And it was for Vernon Davis, the tight end, incomplete, so the 49ers are a quick 3 and out.
Oh, this is an inauspicious start for both offenses right now to go 3 and out. These teams match up strength against strength. The Houston offense against the 49er defense. Obviously, the Houston defense is ranked about the same as the 49er offense, but right now the defenses are ruling day with 2 3 and outs.
So punting for the 49ers is Andy Lee. It's a high booming kick into the sunlight. Jacoby Jones, who can fly. There is a penalty flag down, and he goes down at the 30 in a hurry. The flag is way back inside the 10-yard line where Lee punted from. A 51-yard kick.
Holding, offense number 29. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat, 4th down.
It was on reserve running back Glenn Coffey of the 49ers and Mike Carey, our referee today.
Yeah, this is a pretty decent field position already, but certainly Gary Kubiak making the decision that, you know what, let's make him punt it again. That was a good high punt by Lee, starting 30-yard line marker for the Houston offense, but he's going to make a punt it again. And sometimes you do that because your punt team has just run down the field. They're going to be a little winded. Let's make them do it again and see if they can get as good a coverage as they had before.
And Jacoby Jones, who is excellent on kickoff returns, averaging just under 12 yards on punt returns so far this season. Very capable of breaking one. And he'll be standing back in the middle of his end zone and in the sunlight. You see there's shade with the roof open here in Houston up around the 48-yard line of the 49ers. As Andy Lee will have to be careful, be aware of where his feet are.
This is a tough punt to field because it's coming out of the dark, and all of a sudden now you're staring right into the sun.
And there is Jacoby Jones blocking the sunlight from his own view. Another high kick from the 43-yard line and brought down right away. Excellent special teams coverage. Here in Houston, each of the offenses go 3 and out, and this is a pretty good-looking group of guys right here, this threesome.
Yeah, I don't know who else you would compare to that has any better than these three, with Johnson on the outside, Owen Daniels, one of the top tight ends in the league, and Steve Slayton. Not having quite the year he had last year, but pretty good.
And Matt Schaub to get him the football on 1st and 10. Quick pass is caught right at the 50-yard line and falling into 49er territory is Owen Daniels. Coming off a Pro Bowl season.
Anytime they motion Owen Daniels outside the body of the main formation, something's usually up. He's a very gifted athlete, and they can use him like a wide receiver. So they show a lot of looks, even within a basic 2 tight end alignment.
And that's what that was out of, a 9-yard pickup. Andre Johnson on the right side of Schaub. Slayton in the backfield, and carries on 2nd and 1. Owen Daniels moves to the right side of Schaub. Slayton carries and has a first down. Somebody's helmet came off in the middle of all that from Eric Winston, the right tackle, but he's all right. And the Texans have the first down of the game.
Well, it's interesting. The Texans running game, Gary Kubiak coming from Denver with that Denver cut zone concept. Alex Gibbs, a long-time offensive line coach for the Denver Broncos. They've gotten away from that. Their injuries on the interior of the line with Studdard and White have them concerned about the ability to continue to run that cut zone. They're a much more downhill man blocking scheme now.
And Gary Kubiak said he wanted Steve Slayton to run more effectively on first down. Slayton, and there's nowhere to go. He spins on a one tackle. Fights to get back some of that yardage, but the 49ers smother him. And Justin Smith eventually bringing him down.
That Justin Smith, this is a great job on the right side of the 49ers defensive line. They created penetration right in there. Justin Smith, who has moved inside, he's gained some weight, really beginning to get comfortable about playing on the inside defensively with Manny Lawson coming from the outside. Justin Smith really becoming a force for the 49ers inside.
And Slayton lines up as a receiver on the far left as Owen Daniels comes in motion. Pass is incomplete. Intended for Andre Johnson.
Patrick Willis, you can see here, comes blitzing through the inside, right in the middle here. There again, we keep talking about these young guards for the Houston Texans. Greg Minuski, the defensive coordinator, told us they're going to test the inside of that offensive line by bringing the inside backers a good deal.
Chris White, the guard, making his second NFL start. Chris Myers, the center, with a high ankle sprain, now on 3rd and 15 as the 49ers are putting pressure up the middle on Shaw. Low snap. He has time and has to get rid of it. Nobody was open. Looked like Steve Slayton got in the way on the previous play. This was one play before this incompletion.
Yeah, it's always kind of an orchestrated dance. This is tough on a back. Anytime you have what's called an A or B gap pressure from the linebackers, that's a backer coming right down the middle of the offensive formation. He's got to let the quarterback clear to then get to that linebacker. That's a tough dance to orchestrate.
Matt Turk trying to put the 49ers in Arnaz battle in awkward field position. Scoreless in the opening quarter. Michael Crabtree, the rookie, in for all 3 plays for San Francisco on the previous series, and he is here again on 1st and 10. 49ers from their own 14-yard line with Frank Gore in the backfield. Isaac Bruce in motion. Quick pass out of the backfield to Gore. He gets across the 20-yard line, and let's take a look at this 49er offense led by Sean Hill, the 8th-year veteran from Maryland, and Frank Gore, who comes in averaging 6.2 yards a carry, 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons for the 49ers. And
Vernon Davis is the key for them. He's the go-to guy for Sean Hill, someone they're going to, particularly on 3rd down, you want to know where Vernon Davis is.
Adam Snyder will be helping out at right guard along with his right tackle spot. 2nd down 4. Gore across the 20 for a yard or 2, and D'Amico Ryans makes the stop for a Houston defense that up front we already have seen Mario Williams with a sack of Sean Hill, playing with a sore shoulder, and it has affected his pass rush and the way that people block him. And of course Brian Cushing getting the defensive signals in from the linebacker spot.
Yeah, and he was the NFC Defensive Player of the Week. Great honor for a young rookie. He was kind of excited about getting that when we talked to him the other day.
Coming off a game against Cincinnati, where he forced a couple of fumbles, had 9 tackles and a pick.
Got Vernon Davis matched up one-on-one down here at the bottom.
3rd down for Hill. Quick pass, almost intercepted. It was in front of Vernon Davis. The rookie, Glover Quinn, got his hands on the football.
Well, they broke Vernon Davis out of the body of the formation here, looking for this matchup right here. This is what they wanted to do. The young rookie did a nice job, not bailing out early. Almost got his hand. That could have been a pick 6. So nice job by the young rookie.
Another 3 and out. Andy Lee this time has a little more room than standing at his own end zone, and Jacoby Jones blocking the sun from inside his 30. It's been all about defense so far. See if Jones can give the Texans more room to work. Stop short of the 40. Michael Crabtree, who has been in on every offensive play so far for the 49ers, has not been much of a factor. Steve Slayton in the backfield, 1st and 10 for the Texans. Matt Schaub. Quick pass for Owen Daniels. First down.
Here again, Chris, you're going to see Owen Daniels. They move him around a great deal for 2 reasons. One, so you can't get a good jam on him on the line of scrimmage. And here, Matt Schaub, you're going to see nice job avoiding the rush. They put good pressure on him, puts it right in front of Owen Daniel, who had motioned out into a slot wide receiver position. They're looking constantly matching him up one-on-one on a linebacker or a safety.
31-yard pickup. Andre Johnson out to the left on 1st down. Best drive of the day so far for either team. Schaub. That's to Kevin Walter, who makes the catch, and defensive coordinator Greg Minuski of the 49ers calling out the defensive signals. And interesting, if you look on his arm, you can see even from a distance, looks like a West Coast version of Sudoku or something.
And what that is you can see 44 is the fullback. That triggers some type of call for Greg Minuski. Number 12, when he's in the game, these are the receivers over in here. 80, 83, 12. That's to remind him of different groups he wants to get to or different calls defensively.
83, Kevin Walter, who made that catch in this time for Slayton's run, and he just can't go anywhere. They came in averaging 77 yards as an offense running the football, and that is a trouble spot for this offense.
You know, the 49ers, Chris, use a nomenclature that has become very prominent in the league right now. It's identifying the different groups that are in, and you identify it. We've got a chart here. They call it 21 personnel. The regular 2 back, 1 tight end, 2 wide receivers is 21. 2 tight ends is 12 personnel. Everybody in the league, or virtually everybody, is using this type of numbering system to identify offensive personnel.
So 1 tight end in this situation on 3rd down. Slayton splits all the way out to the left, and the pass is complete for a 1st down to Owen Daniels, who is grabbing everything thrown in his direction.
There again, Owen Daniels coming out of a broken formation. They're got a lot of movement going on. Houston is rolling a lot of people through. That's why Greg Minuski has all those numbers on his arms. He's trying to keep up with the different personnel groupings that are coming into the game, and Houston's doing a good job of changing it up. They now have got 21 personnel, 2 backs, 1 tight end back in the game.
Previous series, a rollout of 2 tight ends after the 12-yard pickup, 1st down. Schaub. Again, in and out of the hands, and he did not hang on long enough. Patrick Willis was right there to make sure that Daniels did not have another catch. It would have been his 4th.
Here again, Daniels on the move. They're moving him virtually every play. They start him across the formation, run just a little quick flat route, get the ball out of your hand quick. That's as good as a running play when you can get it into the hands of the receiver that quickly. Just drop the ball.
13-yard line of San Francisco, 2nd down 10, and Patrick Willis comes in with a couple of interceptions, 2.5 sacks. He's the leading tackler on the team.
Here Daniels in movement again.
Slayton gets the snap and doesn't get much. It'll bring up a 3rd down for the Texans.
And what this does is when Houston rolls through the personnel groupings, 21, 2 back, 1 tight end, 12 personnel, 1 back, 2 tight end, 11 personnel, 1 back, 1 tight end, 3 wides basically, and then constantly putting you in motion. It unsettles a defense. Who's in the game? Where are they moving? What do I do?
And the defensive coordinator, Greg Minuski, saying we have to do 3 things. Start fast, hold them on 3rd down, and get turnovers. It's 3rd and 9 now, a chance for one of those at least. Slayton again far out on the left as a receiver. Catches the football, gets a block, and Steve Slayton has a 1st and goal.
Yeah, this is a staple for them. They love to motion Steve Slayton out of the formation and get these little quick screens going. Again, great rookie year, 1,200 yards last year, better than 50 receptions. This year, not quite on the same pace, but they're doing everything they can to get the ball in his hands, even if it's throwing these screens on the outside.
So now 3 tight ends. That would be what, jumbo in your little list there? Phil?
Right. If it is truly 3 tight ends, it's 23 personnel. 2 backs, 3 tight ends.
Slayton is the back. Slayton the pitch. Steve Slayton, and he's going to get a touchdown. A rushing touchdown for Steve Slayton, the running back from West Virginia, giving the Texans the first quarter lead.
They showed just the balance they'd like to have, hitting a lot. They went to the tight end a couple times, got to Steve Slayton. Andre Johnson so far has not shown up. He will.
Chris Brown with the extra point. Well, the Texans kept trying to run the football. Eventually, that's how they got it into the end zone. An 8-play, 61-yard drive going just over 4 minutes. But Owen Daniels was the guy who kept it moving on throws from Matt Schaub. Chris Brown kicks off. And Michael Robinson from his goal line. Former Penn State quarterback returns to the 25-yard line. First down for the 49ers. Frank Gore. Maybe a couple of yards. So the Texan defense has been tough on Sean Hill and Michael Crabtree and Frank Gore. Second down, 9. Isaac Bruce in motion. Pressure on Sean Hill, and he goes down. Second sack of the game for the Texans. And in on the sack, 39-year-old Jeff Skanina, the oldest active defensive player.
What a great story. Great job by Frank Gore coming in here and blowing up the blitzer. But now you got the one-on-one matchup with the guard. 39 years old. How about that? Getting the sack at 39 years old.
Jeff Skanina with 8 different teams over 17 years, never making more than the league minimum, of which this year is $860,000, and still productive. Fears getting cut every year, but somehow survives. Hard work and being a good teammate. Sean Hill completes. And that is Michael Crabtree. First catch as a member of the 49ers and in the NFL.
Well, just like we saw Houston, this is just a quick outside throw to Crabtree. Kind of these quick screens that everybody in the league is running right now. Step back. They want to get the ball in the hands of this dynamic young receiver, see if he can make some people miss. I don't know that on a 3rd and 15 he's going to make much happen.
Sean Hill making sure to get him involved, but negative yardage for this 49er offense, and we thought Crabtree and Frank Gore would add a boost. Penalty flag.
False start. Offense, number 54. 5-yard penalty is still 4th.
You know, John Madden, the Hall of Famer, said that starting for Mike Singletary to start the rookie Crabtree after having missed all this time kind of goes against what coaches do. Is almost an insult to the game.
Well, if you can start a rookie who's been on the street literally since January, maybe we ought to just do away with training camp altogether, right? Why risk the injury with these guys? Let's just show up and play the first game. This young man's going to be a good receiver, but he's got a long way to go to learn about what it is to play in the NFL, and he will.
Jacoby Jones from the lead punt. This time has running. The penalty flag comes in. Jacoby Jones with a flag at the 35 will reach the end zone.
Now, does the dance go away when he realizes it comes back?
I don't think he realized. 68-yard punt return after a 50-yard kick, but let's check the flag, and that's what the officials are doing. They had bottled him up pretty good on the first few punt returns. Mike Carey, 20-year veteran from Santa Clara University, our referee.
There are 2 fouls, both of them on the receiving team. Holding number 85 is declined, and a little block in the back, number 28 is accepted. 10 yards, they retain possession. First down.
Antoine Molden negates the run that would have been a touchdown, and also Joel Dreesen called on the penalty as well. Jacoby Jones, his 68-yard punt return called back. Here's why.
Well, as he's coming down, Antoine Mullen, you're going to see it as they come down the field. Stop it right there. You're going to see that block in the back, and then as he progresses up the field, Joel Dreesen, excuse me, right there, you can see him holding on to the jersey. So either one of those was going to negate that great return for a touchdown.
Created an opportunity, and the speed of Jones negated because of some infractions here. But the Texans with the lead on the football. Chris Brown is in the backfield for the first time today, and movement on the left side.
Full start. Offense number 76. 5-yard penalty is still first.
It's on Dwayne Brown, the former first-round pick, who's been solid at left tackle from Virginia Tech. So 1st and 15 now, backing them up from their own 17-yard line.
And that's one of the downsides. We talk about how much they're putting Owen Daniels on the run. That means an elongated snap count. That's tough on the linemen sometimes to be in their stance that long. Here go again, Daniels in motion.
And Brown is the running back. Schaub to throw, and has Daniels for a couple of yards. So 7 out of 10 so far for Matt Schaub. That's the 4th catch of the game already for Owen Daniels, who this year already has 4 touchdowns, doubling his total of last year.
Now again, the reason they put him in motion, they're going to bring him from right here all the way to the other side of the formation. They want to make it as easy release on Owen Daniels as you can. If you're on the line of scrimmage, sometimes the linebacker defensive end can jam you pretty good. When you do it on the run, you get a nice clean release. Obviously the plan early is to get the ball to Owen Daniels.
Steve Slayton checks in on 2nd down.
And again, motion out wide. You look for a quick throw to Steve Drayton when this happens. Slayton when that happens.
He's going deep for Slayton, and covering is Shante Spencer. Had he led him a little bit, it looked like Slayton had a step. And let's check the slate of so far, the numbers and what has transpired to give the Texans a 7-0 advantage. Schaub has been busy, and Shaun Hill sacked twice.
And these are typical Matt Schaub numbers. Pretty efficient, high completion percentage. Shaun Hill, both teams are playing so passive in the secondary, they're going to make it very hard to get those explosive plays we keep talking about.
3rd and 9. Schaub from the gun. Andre Johnson single coverage on the left side. And incomplete, a penalty flag. Nate Clements covering David Anderson, already arguing his case.
This is always so delicate. When is too early? When is early too early? Did he get there in time? Did he alter the path of the receiver? We'll see if we can get a look at it.
Illegal contact. Defense number 31. 5-yard penalty automatic. First down.
You know, it's a
He called it Andre Bly.
Andre Bly right here. We're going to see if he did get contact. See, that's just that you can't after 5 yards, as innocuous
he barely
as that
touched
seems,
him.
But you can't touch him. You can't get a jam after 5 yards. That was not needed.
So Clements said, well, it wasn't me. All right.
Yeah, well, he's right. It wasn't.
Either way, it's a first down for the Texans. Daniels going right. They've got 2 receivers on the left. And the handoff to Chris Brown, who they have a yard or 2. 2 tight ends are in for Schaub on 2nd down, and incomplete. Looked like he was going for Joel Dreesen. It was well over his head.
Dreesen, it looked like Schaub thought Dreesen was going to be further down the field. I don't know why Dreesen pulled up a little bit, throttling down. They could have had a nice vertical. Here, part of it too, the ball gets away just as he gets up the ball. He doesn't get follow through. Patrick Willis comes through the middle, and Schaub really couldn't let the ball go cleanly. Obviously affected the throw.
Part of that active group of linebackers. Remember, one of their goals again, stop them on 3rd down. And this is a 3rd and 12 facing Schaub and the Texans. 3 of 6 so far for Houston on 3rd down. Schaub has time, and that is complete to the big guy, Andre Johnson, his 37th catch of the year.
You're not going to shut this guy out the whole game. He and Larry Fitzgerald, in my opinion, 2 of the best receivers in this game. Andre Johnson lined up one-on-one with Nate Clements. This is best against best. He just finds the soft belly of the zone right here on a 3rd and long. Again, both defenses are very passive in their approach right now because they're able to stop the run with their 7-man box or their 7-man front. It's It's going to make it very difficult for Andre Johnson to get a lot of big plays down the field, but that was a big third down conversion.
He has emerged from the shadows at 6'3" and 230 pounds. And nowhere to go for Steve Slayton as Paris Harrelson makes the stop from his linebacker spot. And Takeo Spike's taken to the locker room with an injury. Scott McKillop stepping in for him at that linebacker position for the 49ers, and Johnson checking back in. You know, that's such a diva position, and as good as Andre is, he is a guy who is soft-spoken and carries big numbers. He
and Larry Johnson, they ought to run a school for receivers how to act in the National Football League. Speak with your deeds on the field, not off. Classy young man, and so much fun to watch play.
Right up there with Larry Fitzgerald of the Cardinals, two of the best in the game. Schaub going deep. And incomplete. Andre Davis is who he was going for. Excellent coverage by Nate Clements, who was running there with him.
I'm not sure Schaub didn't get his arm hit again just at the late there. The ball kind of fluttered out.
That's that pressure up the middle you were talking about, taking advantage of the guards of Houston. The 49ers have been able to do that.
And it's tough for a quarterback. The toughest pressure is inside pressure because it's all right in your face. On the outside, obviously, can be lethal. You don't often see it, so it can be painful. But when that rush comes right down the middle of the gut of the offense, you can't help but it affects you as a quarterback.
And Schaub, not very nimble, not the quickest of foot.
Motioning Slayton out again. That usually means something to the outside.
Blitz is on. Quick throw. David Anderson has it on third down, but it's going to be well short of the first down. Let's check in with Nichelle Turner down on the field. Hi, Nichelle.
How you doing, Chris? Yeah, we got a little information on Takeo. We're told that he does have a shoulder strain, but his return is probable, so you could see him again this game. Back to you.
Thank you, Nichelle. And Takeo Spike's one of those guys who has helped Patrick Willis, along with head coach Mike Singletary, develop at that linebacker position. So the defense of the 49ers does its job. Turk on to punt. And waving for the fair catch is Arnaz Battle. He loses the football, and on it is Andre Davis. And the sun that we saw earlier, players shielding their eyes, was in the eyes of Battle. And to be fair, Coach, when you're out there for pregame warm-ups, the sun is obviously not in the same position.
No, and when you saw the Houston returner, he's used to it. They deal with this all the time, but obviously the visiting 49ers, that you see it come from this dark area into the light. You can see right now he's struggling with it. He's staring right into that thing. I tell you right now, he's just going to try to catch that black spot because he doesn't see the ball. All he sees is a black spot coming down under the sun. Big turnover.
Fairness to Battle, if you try to block your eyes, you can't make the clear fair catch sign. Turnover and a timeout, San Francisco. The NFL on Fox here in Houston, Texas, and look at the total yards. That 49er offense, despite adding Crabtree and Gore for this game, just one total yard, and the defense in a whole, as the Texans have it. First down from just outside the 10. Slayton bouncing in the middle. Second down and goal, and he lines up in the slot, does Steve Slayton. Quick pass to Slayton, trying to get to the outside, and Steve Slayton has another touchdown. We might add that to the thing we just showed everybody.
Yeah.
A 9-yard touchdown catch and carry. Steve Slayton from Matt Schaub of the 49er defense couldn't keep him out of the end zone.
And that stretches you. Here you're going to see with Slayton, he's out into a slot like a wide receiver. Just a little quick screen. Typically you do that out of the backfield, and now he's just like any other running back on a quick screen. This stretches a defense because now you got to put linebackers and safeties out there and stretch your defense.
Chris Brown with the extra point. Steve Slayton had a bit of a hand injury back when the Texans played the Raiders. Checking that thumb after he scored a touchdown through the air, ran one in earlier as we get ready for Chris Brown's kickoff. Michael Robinson will down it. Bring the ball out to the 20. Brian Billick, Chris Myers. I noticed as teams look for a gauge, and fans do, of how to assess how good a team really is other than the one-loss record. You have an interesting formula that relates to the turnover we just saw along with big plays called the Fox Tox report.
Yeah, it's a combination. It begins with, obviously, turnovers are always a major determinant for success. Everybody sees the giveaway, takeaway, but there's another component that you need to add to this.
We will have more in the second half. You see the TO for turnovers, the X for explosive plays at 20 yards or more to check the formula. And after the turnover by San Francisco, Houston scored. Now the Niners on offense from their own 20. Sean Hill, the quick pass is complete to Vernon Davis. Best and worst teams in the league based on your Fox Tox formula.
Right, as we said, turnovers, but you add the explosives, but in the same way. How many you get, how many you give up, that gives you a differential. Here you can see New Orleans is the best in the league at +11, Cleveland -18. You combine the two, it gives you a Tox rating that can tell you where your team is. The great thing about this, last year, the top 10 Tox-rated teams all went to the playoffs.
Want to know where these two teams rank, the 49ers and Texans, and we'll check that as they hand off to Frank Gore. He goes down in a hurry, bringing up third down as Mario Williams was all over.
So let's look at these two teams. They're both in the middle of the league. As you look at the Fox Tox rating on both Houston and San Francisco, you can see the key here is for Houston, yeah, they get a lot of explosive offensive plays, but they give them up. San Francisco doesn't give up many, but they don't get any. So what we can see with this, the big play so far, the turnover being the big thing, obviously.
And that Tox rating comparing the two teams, so that's why the Texans are leading when you look at the formula in this game. 14-0. Crowd hoping for a stop on third down. Penalty flag.
False start. Offense number 62. 5-yard penalty is still third down.
Shiloh Rachel, the right guard, called for the penalty. You know, Frank Gore called some of the players over on the last series on the offensive unit, talking to them about getting their act together, something that Coach Singletary has instilled. But now on 3rd and 11, let's see how they respond.
Well, we talked to Greg Minuski yesterday. He's challenged his defensive guys. Hey, we can't rely on just the passion of Mike Singletary. We've got to generate it ourselves. Frank Gore trying to do the same thing offensively.
Third down, an issue for the 49ers. They've had 4 penalties already. Sean Hill's pass. Michael Crabtree, one out of bounds. A big third down conversion, and the rookie from Texas Tech, 10th overall player selected, hangs on.
You can see here on the outside, Crabtree's just going to run what's called a 7 route, a deep high corner. Maybe got away with a little push there. Knew exactly the depth they needed to be. Sean Hill, that's a tough timed route to come up with. Nice execution between two players that haven't been together. They've been together less than 2 weeks.
Sean Hill splits out as a receiver way to the left.
So we got the Wildcat, the obligatory Wildcat.
And Frank Gore. Yeah, Gore takes the direct snap. Gets across the 40-yard line before D'Amico Ryans brings him down. I want to go back to Crabtree because he was very clear when we got to talk to him Saturday when they arrived in Houston, smiling the entire time. Crabtree never doubted that he would play. And he worked out twice a day, he said, in Tampa, every day except maybe taking Sundays off, to stay in good shape. And that's the concern for the 49ers, his conditioning throughout the course of an NFL game. Not necessarily can he catch the football.
They say he does fatigue quickly, and that's obvious. You know, you expected, not having been in training camp or played since January.
2nd and 5, quick pass. Delaney Walker short of the first down. And Bernard Pollard, the physical safety, who will be on Vernon Davis a lot today, was there to make the stop in a hurry. So it's a third down situation again for Sean Hill.
Now, when you play to this formula of play good defense, run the ball, part of the equation is convertible third downs. Well, they're in a 3rd and 4 and 5. That's very convertible. That has to fall on the shoulders of Sean Hill. You're not very explosive. You've got to convert. You've got to keep drives alive. And this is a very convertible third down, 3rd and 3.
Pressure. Pass. And a penalty flag comes in on the end of that. It looked like they collided. That's Isaac Bruce back there with Dante Robinson.
I'll be interested to see, is this on the defense or is this on Isaac Bruce? It looks like there was some pushing and shoving going on at the top of the route.
Pass interference. Offense number 88. 10-yard penalty is declined. 4th down.
Here's Bruce right here as he comes out. I'm not sure, like I said, I think he had just a little bit of shove at the outside.
There it is right there.
That little shoulder, that little shrug pushing the defender off. Obviously the officials had a clear sight of it.
Frustration for Sean Hill and for Isaac Bruce. In case you're wondering, his debut, he's on his way to the Hall of Fame, 1 catch away from 200. Back in '94, he had no catches in his first game, so Crabtree already ahead of that pace. But the 49ers punting and trailing 14-0. Jacoby Jones down at the 21-22 yard line. Along with Brian Billick, Chris Myers, this is a Bob Stetter, Rich Dewey production of the NFL on Fox in Houston, where the Texans are trying to win back-to-back games for the first time this year, go up to 4-3. 49ers come in with a 3-2 record off a bye week. And on a 1st and 10, Matt Schaub hoping to get more from his offense. He fakes, has time, and completes for a 1st down. Kevin Walter, the other guy, the other receiver on the opposite side of Andre Johnson, making a sure-handed grab. And the temperature warming up a little bit here, a little humid with the roof open in front of this sold-out Houston, Texas crowd.
It does, and it didn't start out that way, but that humidity will be a factor. It wears you out a little bit here, and particularly if this defense has to stay on the field for any length of time. Down 14 points.
Takeo Spikes back in with a bruised shoulder, playing for the Niners from the linebacker spot, and we have a penalty flag before the snap, obviously. Penalties have hurt the 49ers, along with the turnover that led to a quick Houston score.
Delay of game. Defense on the line of scrimmage made a move trying to anticipate and force a false start. 5-yard penalty. 1st down, 5 yards to go.
Slayton carries near a 1st down. I want to go back to that call. So you just, as you can't, as a defensive player, try and trick the lineman. Is that why they call?
Correct. And if the offensive lineman is baited into moving, then they're going to call it against the defense as an encroachment.
Even if there's no contact.
Zone. Even if there's no contact. You know, Houston desperately needs to get the running game cranked up, particularly against a team, as in San Francisco is doing right now, that isn't interested in bringing that 8th man down in the box. You've got to be able to run against a standard 7-man front, and this is the missing ingredient for Houston right now.
Chris Brown in with 3 tight ends. 2nd and inches. 1st down. Chris Brown. He got the ball quite a bit last week in a win over Cincinnati to help with some of the power running when they were trying to chew up the clock and protect the lead against the Bengals.
And like most teams in this league that like to develop a 1-2 punch at running back, Steve Slayton, obviously this is kind of a little delay right down the gut of the 49er defense. This is exactly what Houston needs to develop more of, is a quantifiable, reliable running game.
Biggest run of the day, a 13-yard gainer. Same package. Brown again with 3 tight ends, but Schaub to throw it, and wide open. He's got him. Owen Daniels, touchdown! Did he hang on? Texans, yes he did. "42-yard connection."
This is a nice play design by Gary Kubiak here. This is a boot or a waggle. They fake it. They roll out. Typically, you'll throw that play side now, but they throw back across the grain, kind of snuck Owen Daniels in behind the corner who had stepped up to the play fake. Very well designed play by Gary Kubiak and Kyle Shanahan.
Chris Brown with the extra point. If you're saying, why don't they challenge? He had possession of the ball in the end zone. Owen Daniels, 100 receiving yards and a touchdown, working on a contract extension. The owner of the Texans, Bob McNair, says you win, you'll get paid. And a big play from Schaub of 42 yards, making it 21-0 here in the second quarter. Chris Brown will kick it off to the 49ers, who have not threatened offensively all day. Michael Robinson will down it. So the 49ers take over at the 20.
Let's look at that play again, Chris, because again, very well designed. Owen Daniels is here at the tight end position. Now let it run. Typical play fake, play side to the bottom here. Now they waggle back out. Now stop right there. Typically when you run that, you're looking for outside routes over here. Very rarely will you come all the way back across the body of the defense, just as they did here. Corner got way sucked up because of the play fake. Nice play design. Excellent execution by Houston. Here, Kyle Shanahan, the offensive coordinator with Matt Schaub. Well-designed and executed play.
Kyle Shanahan has said the urge is to throw it on every down. You can see why with the kind of weapons they have. So Frank Gore in the backfield for Sean Hill from their own 20. And Gore, they fake it to him and throw it to him. Knocked down short of the first down. This is not a 49er offense. This is not a come-from-behind offense as we take a look at the stats so far today.
Yeah, you can see here, particularly for the 49ers, not real impressive. And as you said, Chris, they're not built for this. They are totally bought into play good defense, run the ball. You're down 21-0. They may have to get into a mode that they're not comfortable with. Right now, they just want to get one drive with one score.
Glenn Coffey is in for Gore. Second and short. Coffey, the rookie from Alabama, carries. I don't know if he got it, Brian. I mean, stacked up short. You don't want to, with the clock running here, 3.5 and 2 timeouts, you don't want to waste any opportunity. Brandon Jones and Jason Hill are inactive today at the receiver spot. First and 10.
Checking the play now. This is probably one run to the other.
And it is a run with nowhere to go. Smacking into a wall. This
has got to be a concern for the 49ers, because it's one thing to have difficulty running the ball when people are dropping that extra safety down into the box that we talk so often about. But right now, Houston's playing just a standard front. They're not dropping their safeties down, and the 49ers are having difficult running the ball against a standard spacing front.
Zach Dials helping to make the play. See the veteran Jeff Scanina, who had a sack earlier. Second and 9. Sean Hill. Incomplete and a penalty flag. It was intended for Isaac Bruce, and Dante Robinson was right there with him.
Well, anytime it's down the field like this, it usually gets called against the defense. Now, we've already had one offensive pass interference called on Isaac Bruce.
Pass interference, defense number 23. Spot of the foul, automatic. First down.
Sean Hill's got a kind of unorthodox throwing style, and that arm bar right there. Anytime you reach across the offensive guys, and DBs do it all the time, there the official has clear sight of it. Even if it didn't really affect the play, they call that an arm bar. They're going to call it every time.
It was a good call. Third penalty for Houston today. From the 46 of the Texans, this is the best position the 49er offense has been in as Josh Morgan carries. Morgan was the receiver that had to go to the bench when Crabtree was named as the starter. And so far, Matt Schaub, who came in with more touchdown passes than anybody else in the NFL, has added to that with one to Steve Slayton and one to Owen Daniels moments ago. We have reached the 2-minute mark. '49ers with a second out from the 40 of Houston, their best scoring chance of the day. Time for Sean Hill, and threw it too far for Michael Crabtree, who has been in on all 20 of San Francisco's offensive plays so far.
You know, as you look at the quarterback comparison, there's certain efficiency on both of them. Schaub 12 of 19, and 6 of 9 for Sean Hill, but only 45 yards. They just can't. We talked about the open. They've got to be able to try to generate some explosive plays out of their passing game, and thus far just haven't.
Matt Schaub has done that for Houston. Vernon Davis has just one catch. Crabtree 2 on a big third down. and 4. Sean Hill is short. It'll bring up 4th down, and Connor Barwin, the rookie from Cincinnati, making sure that Hill didn't cross.
You pretty much have to go for this, don't you, Chris? I mean, you're down 21-0. You're in to punt here would serve no purpose. Looks like they're calling timeout to discuss it.
49ers will have 1 timeout remaining. Mike Singletary got on his team because of the way they went into the bye week with a tough loss. They got blown out by Atlanta at home. And they have not responded well today.
You'd like to think there would be a certain freshness about you, that you might beat the opponent to the punch a little bit with that freshness. We have not seen it here. Houston's done a great job of negating not only the 49er rush, but by being passive in the back end with their secondary, haven't given up any big plays.
They've taken Frank Gore out of the game. He has 7 yards rushing. He's in the backfield on 4th down and 2. Almost intercepted. The Texans get the ball anyway. Sean Hill falling through the pass, and Brian Cushing almost had his 2nd pick in as many weeks. And Sean Cody was there to hold on to Sean Hill.
Yeah, the dangerous ploy by Sean Hill, trying to make something happen, obviously. Now we're in a very interesting, here you can see good pressure. Has to come right back up, climb the pocket right up in the middle. At this point, I know you're trying to make something happen, but this is going to go the other way for a touchdown. I know you don't want to give them the ball on the 40-yard line, 37-yard line. Now we're going to find out just how far Houston has come. They've gotten in gear, Chris. We talked about they needed to get out of neutral. They're up 21-0. They need to have this killer punch here, see if they can move down at the very least to get into field goal range.
Put the pedal to the metal and make it even tougher for a 49er rally. Slayton carries on 1st down. And Steve Slayton so far in the game, only 4 yards rushing.
Yeah, you've got some assets on this team. We've talked about Andre Johnson on the outside, Owen Daniels at the tight end position. I'm not sure you don't take a little more aggressive shot down the field. You're coming up on less than a minute. That you need to know that your offense can execute in this way when they're given field position like they have now.
And they have all 3 of their timeouts. The Texans just under a minute to go. Schaub with plenty of time, and he couldn't get rid of it. And the 49ers sack him. Manny Lawson from his outside linebacker spot.
Now, the last thing you want to do is have to punt this ball. So you're going to bring this down. You may get 1 run on 3rd down. You're not going to take a chance necessarily on a turnover. A big play doesn't help you that much in terms of field goal. Right now, you want to get, as unambitious as it sounds, you just want to get off the field, because if you have to punt the ball, you never know what's going to happen.
First sack of the day for the 49er defense. They came in with 16 as a unit over their first 5 games.
I'd be surprised if this is not a run.
And don't be surprised. That's why you're a coach. And the ball came out on the end of that play. And Nate Clements has it. And yes, the official says the 49ers have recovered.
And change of possession. The clock stops. So they're immediately in field goal range.
And Steve Slayton has lost 3 fumbles coming into this game. In fact, in practice this week, the Texans had him running through the gauntlet where players try and strip the ball away. And Justin Smith got there first. Let's see if the ball came out before his knee touch. That was close.
Yeah, it was. Of course, the challenge on this is going to come from the booth.
Upstairs.
There's nothing Gary Kubiak can do inside of 2 minutes, unless the booth sees something differently than what we're seeing.
And that's what.
We'll review it with instant replay.
Yeah, they've signaled Mike Carey.
Gary Kubiak was saying before you do anything here, look, the Niners are hoping to try a field goal.
We'll see if we can get another view here. It looked like he had control. Of course, that doesn't help us. The knee was down when that ball came out from that view.
From that angle, it could have been juggled on the other side. So it's an official review.
Sure looks like here he's got possession of the ball, and the knees are down on the ground. So after this review, it should be the Texans' ball. Lost opportunity for San Francisco. Now the ball eventually comes out.
It was ruled a fumble on the field. It is a booth review with fewer than 2 minutes remaining in the half in the game. Nate Clements came out of there with it for Mike Singletary's team, and they would have one chance to try a field goal if they have possession of the football. Joe Nedney, who has a career high of 56, his longest field goal, has made a 52-yarder this year and is 7 of 9 in the field goal department so far. So Mike Carey, maybe there was something on the grip of the football. Now, Brian, if a player has a reputation of fumbling the football, can that
Well, obviously, you're always trying to strip the players of the ball. I don't know that you do anything different schematically to say, okay, this guy, other than to challenge your players to say, you know what, this guy coughs the ball up. We need it.
After review, when the runner's right knee hit, he had full control of the ball, down by contact. It will be a Texas ball, 4th and 12 on the 36-yard line. Please put 7 seconds on the game clock. 7 seconds on the game clock, please.
Yeah.
And the clock will start on my mark.
Here's the two components: knees down, control of the ball, the play's dead, down by contact at that point.
So the right call, and the video proves that from the officiating crew. And so Steve Slayton says, thank goodness. You know, he didn't have a fumbling problem last year, and part of the argument this year, according to the Texans staff, was he was trying to do more when they weren't running the ball well, and that extra effort often defensive players were able to knock the ball loose.
And even if a player does have a problem, what do you do with it? You know, that one of those great coaching points. Yeah. Don't fumble, son.
Yeah. Says hold on to it.
Well,
remind him.
Yeah, you know, you don't want to bring too much attention. Believe me, no one's more aware of it than he is. I promise you.
You can always carry the ball around with you when you go to dinner and to movies. You've tried that trick, right, with some of your players.
Right.
So, with the clock running down, the Texans will take a 21-0 lead to the half. And Houston, which has been up and down, they're up right now and trying to win back-to-back with a 21-0 lead.
And we said that was going to be the key, because this is a team that's been around 500 for quite a while now. At home in particular, they've got all the weapons. You've got to, at home against a good 49er, and it is a good 49er team, you've got to be able to take control.
Getting ready to start the third quarter. It's been all Texans with a 21-0 lead. The 49ers will get the football. First half stats presented by DirecTV, and the 49er offense, Coach Brian Billick, has been abysmal.
There's just nothing there. They haven't been able to establish anything, and they're now down 21-0, which they're not built to fight back through. They're going to have to make the fundamental decision of they got to throw the ball in this second half if they're going to get back in this ball game.
Off a fumbled punt. That was the turnover the Texans took in. Chris Brown, his 3 extra points. A couple of touchdown tosses from Matt Schaub. Last 49er, by the way, to return a kickoff for a touchdown was in 2008. Allen Rossum, who was cut during the bye week. That came against Arizona. Here on the Brown boot, it's Michael Robinson, who this time brings it out. And some excellent blocking. Good field position for the 49er offense, which has sputtered despite having Michael Crabtree. He does have 2 catches for 22 yards. He's been in for all 22 of San Francisco's offensive plays.
Frank Gore, you know, is a tough physical runner, and you know they'd like to get Frank cranked up here. They may come out this half and say, like I've said many times, okay, we just need a score. And so we're going to stay within our game plan, and we're going to continue to try to run the ball, even though they haven't been able to move it down the field. I think they got to get Vernon Davis involved here at some point.
Well,
he's their best receiver. Alex
Smith has come in at quarterback for Sean Hill, and we're assuming there is no physical injury to Sean Hill. We will check with the 49er bench as Frank Gore is the running back. And Gore carries and cuts back Now, remember, Mike Singletary said that Alex Smith had been working well and he stayed in constant communication, but he was very clear with us that Shaun Hill is his starting quarterback.
Well, Chris, I'd done a couple shows in the Bay Area during the week, and Mike had said something about the faith he has in Alex Smith. And people were saying, well, geez, does that mean we could see a hook on Shaun Hill? And he said, absolutely not. I just have faith in Alex Smith. But evidently, obviously, he didn't like what he saw in the first half and feels like I need to do something to shake up a very stagnant offense.
I talked to Alex in pregame warmups, the former #1 overall pick who was throwing more diligently and said he feels very healthy. The throw here for Crabtree. First down, 49ers. And maybe just a switch of things because Shaun Hill was not getting a lot of time, 6 out of 11 in the first half, but just did not look comfortable or in rhythm.
No, although looking back on it, I don't know that Shaun Hill did anything wrong. I don't think the opportunities presented itself. I think Mike Singletary is clearly just trying to shake something up with an offense that did nothing in the first half. I don't know that it was because of Shaun Hill necessarily, but he's going to give Alex Smith a chance to get them in rhythm.
Penalty flag. And on that offensive line, Tony Pashos is injured.
Encroachment. Defense number 95. 5-yard penalty. First down, 5 yards to go.
Call is on Sean Cody of the Texans. We have confirmed there is no injury. Shaun Hill is healthy. He has just been replaced here to start the second half by Alex Smith, who gets a break after the penalty, has a 1st and 5 situation, a good opportunity, maybe to strike for the end zone.
Yeah, this would be in this area. They're doing a lot from the slot formation. 2 receivers in the slot here because it brings about more predictable coverage.
Gore carries. Instead, they play it safe. That's what the 49er offense is all about. Sean Cody, who the penalty was on moments ago, makes the stop, bringing up second down.
Well, like I said earlier, I think this is where you need to get. They will tell you Vernon Davis is their best player. He's the fastest guy on the team. Obviously want to establish the run with Frank Gore, but a good play action and get Vernon Davis involved. He's a big playmaker for you. There again, as I just said, they're coming out in this slot formation. This seems, I saw this last week with Cincinnati, much more predictable coverage package when you're in slot.
That's Isaac Bruce coming to the right side. Gore carries to the left side. And it has a first down and keeps going to about the 35 of Houston. Well, let's talk about the Alex Smith move. Just a change of pace. Do you worry about the confidence of Shaun Hill over the long haul? Are you thinking maybe if Alex shows us something here, it's a spark that he might win this 49er quarterback job?
You spend any time with Mike Singletary, you know this team, and it's been beat into them since training camp. It's all about the team. It's not about one person. We're going to do whatever we have to do as a team. If we have to put Alex Smith in, Shaun Hill just has to understand that. And they're all drinking the Kool-Aid in that regard, but this is a fundamental change for him.
And that was part of why Crabtree was inserted. He wanted the best player out there. Josh Morgan, who went to the bench at the receiver spot, had to understand that and did like a true pro. And the Texans were clearly across the line of scrimmage as penalty flags fly. Let's see if they were drawn off.
Offside. Defense number 93. 5-yard penalty. First down, 5.
Tim Bowman called for the penalty.
Whatever Alex Smith is doing differently in terms of snap count, it's catching Houston, because that's now 2 procedure penalties in 1 drive.
A lot's made of Mike Singletary, and when he played, his eyes. When you look into his eyes, and I've covered some of his games, Coach, where maybe he looked into the eyes of his quarterback and didn't see what he wanted to make the change.
And Mike's all about relationships. He's all about knowing the pulse of his team, and he feels like this is the move for the pulse of his team.
And Michelle Turner at halftime spoke with Mike Singletary. He told her, we're going to get the ball to Crabtree in the second half. We need to. And maybe Smith gives him the best chance. Penalty flag down for Vernon Davis. Touchdown 49ers. Let's check the flag at the 31-yard line.
Offside. Defense number 66 lined up in the neutral zone is declined. Score is good.
DeJuan Robinson guilty of the penalty, but Alex Smith with a perfect strike, and Vernon Davis carried it into the end zone.
Well, you knew if they were going to get back into it, it would require a big play by Vernon Davis, their best player. We talked about it earlier going in. Alex Smith delivering a very well-placed looping ball down the field, giving his athletic tight end a chance to adjust and go up and get it.
His second catch of the game. You get excited every time a quarterback makes a big play, and it has changed the complexion of this game. A 29-yard touchdown toss from Alex Smith, and we have a 49er player down on the sideline at the 5-yard line.
Looks like Vernon Davis
is in pain, whether it's cramps or whether it was the hit to the ribs when he held on to get into the end zone. But he had trouble getting back to the sideline and obviously couldn't make it to the bench.
And it was an explosive play. We keep coming back to that, but turnovers and explosives, an explosive play that has got them back into this.
Some pain and some gain. The 49ers are on the board behind Alex Smith, and Vernon Davis will return in Houston in a moment. Along with Brian Billick, Chris Myers, and the extra point from Joe Nedney on San Francisco's first score of the day as Alex Smith gets his first action of 2009. And it's now 21-7.
This is always an interesting combination, Chris, when you're talking about an existing quarterback. Sean Hill's been the leader of this team. You know, whatever it takes for us to win, I'll manage the game. But now Alex Smith comes in and scores the first touchdown they've had all day. This is tough on a quarterback. It's a tough situation for a team when you go through this transition.
But for the 49ers, it gets them back in the football game. Andre Davis for the Texans, stopped short of the 20. Vernon Davis just got the wind knocked out of him, so he appears to be okay. His second catch of the game, good for the touchdown.
Yeah, just a nice touchdown pass looping. It doesn't look like the hit here because he looks fine right now, right? He's excited. Yep. I've scored. And then I think this is called friendly fire because with the jubilation coming in, his own man kneed him in the stomach.
That's Josh Morgan.
He's going, man, what are you doing to me?
So Davis is all right. And Alex Smith trying to spark a comeback. Let's see how Schaub responds. Quick to throw and complete. 8 minutes right there to bring down Kevin Walter. It'll be second down.
Now the 49er defense desperately needs a 3-and-out. There's a little bit of an emotional switch going on here. 49ers got a little bit of life after coming out of the tunnel down 21-0. But they desperately need this 3-and-out here.
And Mike Singletary, you know, I don't know if I'd want to be in a halftime discussion trailing 21-0, but whatever he said, they responded.
You're going to listen. When Mike Singletary speaks, you're going to listen.
2nd and 4. That's Owen Daniels, star of the first half, in movement there. And the handoff to Slayton, who has some running room. A first down. You saw him reach for the football, but he held on. And that was Patrick Willis trying to force a miscue. Looks like Dwayne Brown slow getting up from the tackle spot.
Well, we've said it the whole game. A consistent running game is the one ingredient that Houston's missing. They're playing good, solid defense. We know they can throw the ball. But this consistent running game, and they're clearly trying to get it reestablished here as well.
The longest run of the day for Steve Slayton. He does have a short touchdown run, but a fresh set of downs for Matt Schaub and this Texan offense. Schaub wants to throw and has time. Dumps it short. That's Slayton, but the 49ers swarm to bring him down at the line of scrimmage. You would address the explosive parts of this offense, and that doesn't even include Andre Johnson today,
who's just basically got one catch. But the 49ers get a lot of credit for letting that happen. Steve Slayton running the ball. Again, that's a big component for them. This is the Owen Daniels show. I mean, they've been moving them all over the place. Clearly they're playing. Well, they like that matchup, so that's the advantage they've been pressing the whole game.
And you explained, Brian, earlier the different packages, the way the defense sets up. This is a 2 tight end alignment.
1 back. This is 11 personnel, or excuse me, 12 personnel. 1 back, 2 tight end.
Schaub on the run, just trying to float it out of bounds.
Owen Daniels is one of the top 4 or 5 tight ends in the National Football League.
And the coaching staff is impressed because he sits in on special teams meetings on a regular basis just to learn more about the game, about blocking, about being in position. And he has been the star receiver so far today. On 3rd down. The quick toss. Short of the first down. That was David Anderson, the backup receiver, making the grab, but it'll be a punting situation for Houston.
This has been a little bit of the other Achilles heel for Houston in that their third down conversions, they're 23rd in the league in third down conversions. When you throw the ball as well as Houston does, your third down conversions ought to be better. This is, although it wasn't a 3-and-out, pretty good series by the San Francisco 49er defense now to put the ball back in Alex Smith's hands, see if he can come up with another touchdown.
The momentum shift, and look at the sun.
Yeah, he's having to deal with that sun again.
Matt Turk from the shadows to boot it. And Arnaz Battle is going to wait for the fair catch, and this time he is able to make the catch. That's tough for anybody.
This is a lot to have to deal with just on fielding a punt. You can see Arnaz Battle. He's got to shield his eyes. He can't see it yet. He sees that he looks down at the front. Now I got to get a quick fair catch signal, and now staring at that sun. So that was more difficult than it should have been just to field a punt.
Lost an earlier fumble that led to a Texans score from the 12. Worst starting field position today for the 49ers as Frank Gore carries, and Alex Smith taking over to start the second half. Sean Hill is fine, just a move made by Mike Singletary. Already has thrown his 20th career touchdown pass. Over 4,600 career yards passing, a completion percentage just over 54%, and has had shoulder problems and shoulder injuries that has affected his development. Trying to work through that and maybe win a job back. Second down 7, 2 tight ends with Gore in the backfield. Gore has run out of bounds. It'll be third down. And in fact, Alex Smith got a call this week from Sam Bradford, the Oklahoma quarterback, who has major decisions to make about his shoulder injury. And Smith has worked through it and is healthy now and has an important call here on third down and 6.
Yeah, and this is a quarterback's down. This is where you're going to prove your mettle. You know, you're the #1 pick in the draft at quarterback on a team that wants to run the ball and establish themselves that way. You're there to convert on a 3rd and 6.
And the Texans crowd wants defense from the 15. Coffey and Robinson in the backfield to help protect Smith.
Vernon Davis in the slot, something to watch for.
And a penalty flag before the snap.
Delay. Offense, 5-yard penalty, third down.
Is that noise, or is that a quarterback coming in when he didn't know he was going to be coming in?
Yeah, I think that's a quarterback that's thinking about a lot of things rather than knowing that the clock is winding down on him. I mean, the crowd was loud, but not that loud.
And you talk manageable. Now that goes from 5 yards or 6 yards to 11.
And the percentages, a 3rd and 6 average will convert about 40% of the time. A 3rd and long like this jumps down to about 20% of the time.
49ers 1 for 7 on third down today. Alex Smith, the short completion to Vernon Davis, and that'll bring up a punting situation. The Houston defense did its job bottling up the 49ers.
Yeah, anytime a new quarterback comes in, here's the play clock right here. That's right at eye level. Anytime you start out a game, you make sure your quarterbacks know where is the play clock. He has a clear line of sight to that. It sits right up in here as he's calling a play. That's somewhat inexcusable for a quarterback to take a 3rd and 6 to 3rd and 11.
Andy Lee's kick back at the 32 for Jacoby Jones, and he goes down at about the 42. There's a penalty flag all the way back inside the 10-yard line.
And he should have, let's see what the penalty is, but Gary Kubiak may have the option of
Holding. Offense, number 28. Houston is elected to take it at the end of the run. First down. Timeout.
49ers trailing by 14, and the offense failed to move it forward. In fact, moving backward left great field position as the Texans take over on offense. Matt Schaub is going to run for a couple of yards, brought down short of the 45-yard line in San Francisco territory by Scott McKillop, who has played a little bit more today because of a shoulder injury to Keo Spikes.
You know, Friday when we talked to the Texans and talking to Gary Kubiak, you recognize Matt Schaub is not a particularly gifted athlete in terms of he's flat slow. I mean, but he moves well in the pocket. But if he has to leave that pocket, he just doesn't have the foot speed to do anything with it.
3 tight ends in, Brian, here on second down, and they give it to Slayton, and he's got some room to get down near a first down.
We got a measurement for a first down.
And
again, our yellow line is not official necessarily.
The chain link is,
but pretty darn close.
That's why we put it out there, so we get a gauge. It's as easy to understand as the Fox talks that you pointed out with turnovers and explosive
and we're
plays.
seeing here, you know, Houston was up +3 because they had the 2 explosive plays and the turnover. San Francisco, with their own explosive play, kind of brought it back within reach. Right now it's a field position battle. Houston would love nothing more than to take a good long drive here, certainly a touchdown, field goal minimum, suck some time off that clock, and just take emotional control of the game.
So on third, and you saw how much, Steve Slayton is the back for Matt Schaub. Now he splits out as a receiver to the right side, and Schaub keeps. And gets the first down with the clock running.
Now, we talked about this Fox Talks rating, and it was they're +3 now because this is today. You know, we tried to establish this. They're 2 explosions up. They've got 2 plays over 20 yards, and this was prior to the last big play. You can add 1 now, 1 explosive play to San Francisco. So now it's going to be a +2 rather than a +3. But you can see clearly with the explosion plays and turnovers why Houston's ahead.
Slayton carries. Running hard for a guy who's just 5'9". The ball looked like it came out on the back end of the play. And we'll wait for the official to rule. Slayton had a fumble, so it appeared before the end of the first half, but the official review showed it was not loose. He has 3 fumbles this season already that have been lost. And he looks like he's
San
hurt.
Francisco.
So the 49ers get the football. And that Fox Talks report, you see how important turnovers are.
Absolutely. And that's why the 2 are tied together, Chris, because turnovers typically leads to points, as do big plays, and one will offset the other. So Houston's left themselves vulnerable.
Let's see where Slayton loses it. Deshaun Goldson recovered from his safety spot. Deshaun Goldson from his safety spot strips the ball away and recovers it from Steve Slayton, who's lost his 4th fumble of the season, trailing 21-7. Alex Smith, who started the second half for a healthy Sean Hill. Under pressure. He has room to run and can get a first down, and does, before going out of bounds. Let's take a look back at that fumble.
Yeah, this is just a great strip by Deshaun Goldson. He comes in here, and as he's going down, he's just going to reach in here. You can see him coming in the screen right here. Watch him physically just yank the thing out as he's going down. A lot of bodies on the ball carrier. One of you starts stripping at the ball, and it turned into a turnover for the San Francisco 49ers.
And again, the Niners playing without safety Michael Lewis, his 3rd concussion since August. They hope he'll be back next week. And Reggie Smith, also the safety spot, out with a groin injury. Goldson doing his job. An 11-yard pickup, fresh set of downs, and they hand it off to Gore. Let's go back to that fumble one more time and listen how hard he's hit. You could even see his shoulder pad getting flipped up.
And unless you've been a part of one of those hits, you can't imagine the sheer force of those collisions.
Tough to hang on to a football on second down at about 3. The direct snap goes to Gore, as Alex Smith lined up on the right side as a receiver, and it looked like he got the first down. 49ers have trailed throughout in this game, and it wasn't until Alex Smith came in to throw a touchdown pass to Vernon Davis that they got on the scoreboard. 1:50 to go here in the third quarter, and it is a first down for Mike Singletary's offensive group from the 44 of Houston. Glenn Coffey checks in. Michael Crabtree, the rookie from Texas Tech, in his first NFL game, is on the left side in single coverage. Penalty flag flies. Crabtree catches it and is brought down at the 20. But it looked like Josh Morgan moved on the right side at the receiver spot.
Well, he was in motion and he went forward before the snap of the ball, so this is clearly going to come back.
Penalties have hurt the Niners.
Illegal motion. Offense number 84 moving forward at the snap. 5-yard penalty is still first down.
You cannot take a step towards line. Here you can see going forward. You square up, that's fine, but he's clearly going downhill. That little downhill, that's why you typically tell a receiver to turn your shoulders up away from the line of scrimmage so that you naturally are pulled away from it, and that's just a young mistake.
It negates a 22-yard gain. Ironically, Josh Morgan was the guy taken out of the starting lineup for Michael Crabtree to open the game, and Morgan has the only touchdown catch by a 49er receiver today, as Jerry Sullivan, the receivers coach, is consoling him. 8 penalties on the 49ers today. So first and 15. Alex Smith, quick pass complete to Vernon Davis. Bryant Cushing there to make sure he didn't pick up any more yardage, and we have an injured Texan back at the 45-yard line. Tim Bowman, part of that defensive line rotation. And in the first half, the Texans put tremendous pressure getting to Shaun Hill. Here, Alex Smith has created a spark for the 49er offense. As Bowman comes off, the injured Texan, we hope he's okay. And with 51 seconds to go here in the third quarter, and the clock running, 2nd down 7 for Alex Smith and the Niners. It's a 2 tight end alignment with Frank Gore in the backfield.
But they've exploded out of it. They've opened themselves up formationally here for more presence down the field.
Isaac Bruce in the slot. Pass goes to the veteran, who's brought down right at the 40 by Zach Dials. Alex Smith is 5 out of 5 so far. And what about Crabtree? Has he played more than you thought he would?
Absolutely. He's taken virtually every snap. In talking with them and wondering how much they were going to play him, were they going to do a pitch count? They're knee deep in a fight for the game, and obviously they think this young man's ready to play. And quite frankly, he's done quite well up to this point.
Singletary said he would watch the body language of Michael Crabtree. Ten degrees hotter here in Houston from the start of the game. The humidity up a bit, and you see in the sun the 49ers with a big 3rd down.
Best matchup I'm looking at right now is Vernon Davis in the slot. Looks like they're going to bring pressure.
A safety drops deep. Pollard for the Texans. Quick pass the other way near the first down marker, and a high grab by the rookie Crabtree, who makes the catch. A big-time catch.
Very good throw by Alex Smith. Had to come out of his hand very quickly. When you talk to the people about Crabtree, the first thing they talk about is his hands, how great his hands are. Every single one we talked to, there was a play in practice, I guess. Here he's just on the right side, pressed up. This is just, I'm going to beat you. I'm all over it. This is good coverage. I'm right there. That's a tough catch. That was over the top.
He told you he could handle press coverage. He said, if I can't beat it, why am I here in the NFL?
Yeah, he's going to learn. It's tougher than you think in the NFL. But I got to tell you, this young man's holding it very well.
On first down, Frank Gore, they try and spring something, goes nowhere. And Crabtree has been in on all 37 plays. So the conditioning that he talked about, working out on his own as he checks out on this play.
Well, Alex Smith 6 for 6 compared to, again, Shaun Hill 6 for 11. I don't think there was anything Shaun Hill did wrong. They just weren't moving. So it's like, bringing in a new pitcher. bringing in the lefty. Let's do something different here. And so far, they've responded to it with Alex Smith under center, or in the gun, as it were.
So the lineup, 3 receivers.
Yeah,
to
they're
left.
much more spread out. So they've changed the style that they're playing with right now with Alex Smith.
The quick throw by Smith is batted away and incomplete. And that was Antonio Smith who got his arms up.
We're seeing much more formations, many more formations, deployment, putting the tight ends outside. This is, again, they were just trying to get one of those little quick screens we keep talking about. Nice job getting the ball batted down. But they're doing a lot more with Alex Smith at quarterback than what they were trying to do with Sean Hill.
His first incompletion of the day as Sean Hill watches. And that was the first play that Crabtree is off the field on 3rd down now. Crabtree is back in on the right side with Frank Gore in the backfield. That's Vernon Davis moving. And it looked like there was an awkward snap, whether they were trying to direct snap it.
They got a timeout in, though.
And a timeout was called just before the snap of the football, as Cushing isn't taking any chances running it the other way.
Well, that's always a dangerous combination. Yeah, you can see, we're going to see here that Alex Smith does a nice job. You're going to see right here, he gets that time. He knows the play. Something's not right. So he knows, nope, timing's wrong. I'm going to call timeout right now. Mike Carey, the official, doing a good job of recognizing the timeout being called, and 49ers dodged a bullet there.
So 3rd down. Looks like the same type of play with Vernon Davis in motion. Smith complete. He's got Josh Morgan. First down, 49ers. Eugene Wilson had to bring him down.
The 49ers have the combination with Josh Hill, or Josh Morgan, who really has played fairly well. This guy's got a huge upside. You add Michael Crabtree to it, to the combination. You've already got Isaac Bruce. They've got a viable 3-wides package. Maybe doesn't necessarily fit who their personality is, but those are 3 pretty good athletes on the outside.
Maybe we're seeing a personality change with Alex Smith on this 49er offense. 1st and 10, trailing by 14. Smith for the end zone, has it. That is a touchdown, Vernon Davis. And Smith and Davis 2 for 2 in the end zone.
This was almost an exact carbon of the first touchdown to Vernon Davis. They were in 12 personnel. Remember, that's 1 back, 2 tight ends. Stacked the tight ends on top of one another and created that little skinny post to Vernon Davis, almost exactly like the first touchdown. We got a ball game, Chris.
And Alex Smith may be reviving a career that many thought wasn't going to last, at least in San Francisco. Who knew? Extra point is good by Nedney. So Alex Smith, a difference maker, 8 out of 9, starting the 2nd half, and the 2 touchdown passes, both to Vernon Davis. And Vernon Davis equaling a career high with a couple of scores as Nedney kicks off to Andre Davis from his own end zone. He decides to bring it out, and the kick coverage is very good. Moments ago, Nichelle Turner down on the field spoke with a distinguished guest here in Houston.
All right, I am here with former President George H.W. Bush. This is Salute to Military Day here at the stadium today. It's a wonderful day. Just tell us a little bit about why you're here.
Well, I'm here because of respect for the military. Of course, I'm a Houstonian. I love the Texans. Our son, the former president, is here. Barbara's here. Our son Neil is here. So it's a family day for us.
All right, thank you very much for joining us today, okay?
Nice to see you.
It's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President, and Nichelle Turner as the Texans on first down have shot deep for Andre Johnson. He came out of there with it. Backed up at their own 5-yard line, all the way down to the 41-yard line of San Francisco.
Well, Andre Johnson, just one of those receivers, just put it up. You can double him, you can triple him, you can bracket him, but his ability to go up and muscle down the ball. Andre Johnson only a second catch for the day, but obviously a huge one for them in getting the emotional ebb and flow back Houston's way.
That shot throw through the air. The Air Force would have been proud of that. Here he's trying to dump it off to Chris Brown in the backfield. Andre Johnson has been doubled much of the day, and he's not a diva at what is often a diva position, the wide receiver spot. Schaub fakes, he has it, and incomplete. He was reaching or trying to get the ball to Joel Dreesen, so that will bring up 3rd and 6, and this is where if you're Mike Singletary or Greg Minuski, the defensive coordinator, you went back to your goals to start the game as Andre Johnson is feeling some pain down on his knees here on the field. The 49er defense needing a stop, trailing by 7.
Well, they said coming in that get them off the field on 3rd down. The 49ers in the bottom 1/3 of the league in terms of 3rd down conversions on defense.
Andre Johnson, after a terrific catch on a play that did not involve him directly, injured at the moment. We'll check on this when we return. Along with Brian Billick, Chris Myers in Houston, and Andre Johnson got up and walked away under his own power. That catch put Andre Johnson over 7,000 receiving yards in his career, but he's not in on an important 3rd down. Where does Schaub go?
Yeah, the next go-to guy's got to be Owen Daniels. That's been his go-to guy all day long.
Chris Brown is the running back. Time for Schaub, who goes to Owen Daniels. And it is the Houston 1st down.
And that was Nate Clemens on the tight end Owens Daniels. That tells you what they think of Owens Daniels, to put your #1 corner on a tight end. This is just a great grab. Put it the only place he could to be safely thrown. Reaches out, good strong hands. Great catch by Owen Daniels on a key 3rd down. Now they're clearly in field goal position. You want a touchdown, but you can't lose that field goal position.
And it's a 3 tight end package for the moment.
Yeah, 13 personnel.
Chris Brown to carry, so with the tight ends you figure more room to run, more blocking up front. And a check on the sideline down in Houston for the Texans. Andre Johnson just got the wind knocked out of him. Nothing serious, so we expect to see him back in the football game.
You know, one of the nice things that you have the latitude when you're the Houston Texans, and you have a receiver, a tight end like Owen Daniels. You can put 13 personnel in. That's 1 back, 3 tight ends. But it's the same as having a wideout. You can flank him out, you can motion him out, because he can play like a wide receiver.
So there are 3 tight ends again, and Andre Davis is the receiver on the right side with Chris Brown, the running back, on 2nd down. Schaub looks to throw, has time, and there's Owen Daniels again. This time Deshaun Goldson from his safety spot makes the tackle, but Owen Daniels and Matt Schaub are carving up this 49er defense.
And this personnel grouping makes it very tough on you here. Matt Schaub knew exactly where he wanted to go. Thought about going away from it. Reclutched it a little bit, but found just the window he needed to get to Owen Daniels. When you have 3 tight ends, you've got to configure for the run, right? 1 back, 3 tight ends. And that leaves you a little vulnerable in the back end when you are able to throw against it, because you've got Owen Daniels like a receiver.
So Andre Johnson checks back in. Owen Daniels, 7 catches already. And here, trying to set up a block for Chris Brown, and there's not a lot of room. Justin Smith is there for the 49ers. But the clock is running here. Under 9 minutes to play, and the Texans trying to add to a 7-point lead. At one time, it was a 21-0 score.
Well, and you got to be impressed with Houston's responding to the challenge. They had given up a touchdown. They were backed up inside their 20-15-yard line, got a big play to Andre Johnson, have now marched the length of the field. This is the kind of drive that Gary Kubiak's looking to get him out of neutral, to put him in gear to get on the winning side of the ledger and go up 4-3 on the season.
So Chris Brown the back, Andre Johnson in for 2 tight ends, including Owen Daniels, who lines up in the backfield. But watch where he goes. Oh, they got Schaub, and he goes down at the 20-yard line. He went down faster than Lehman Brothers. Ahmad Brooks, who came from the linebacker spot. Someone Mike Singletary said he wanted to get involved more in the game. Got involved there.
And that was tough on the left tackle, Dwayne Brown here. You're going to see this is a little bit on Matt Schaub. They're coming off this side. That's a long time to hold protection. Dwayne Brown setting up holds on. Matt Schaub, wait, steps back instead of up into the pocket. That's frustrating for a tackle. He actually did a pretty good job against the defender.
Second sack of the game for the 49er defense. Slayton slips one tackle, holds onto the football very carefully.
And he was covering it up, wasn't he?
Yep, that'll bring up third down. It looks like a penalty flag has come out after the play. Mike Carey will clarify what the flag is for. 7:35 to play here in the fourth quarter. And the 49ers and Mike Singletary trying to keep it a 7-point game.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense number 76, 15-yard penalty, fourth down.
Maybe a little of that frustration from the previous play on Dwayne Brown. This makes it a little more difficult for him. The priority here now is, as I said, you're in field goal position. And sure, you want to try to go for the first down. It's going to be a long third down. We're going to see here what Dwayne Brown actually does. Probably a late trying to peel him off the pile. You can't do that. They're very, although that
is that really necessary? I mean, that was a slight push.
Yeah, but just the fact the action. It was a little pedestrian.
It was the second penalty in this game on Dwayne Brown, the veteran left tackle. When I say veteran, he's in his second year, but he's playing every big down for Gary Kubiak. So Chris Brown, a field goal that'll make it a 10-point game from 50. It's up there. It's out there. And it's good there. 6 out of 9 for him this year. But check his scores around the league. The Vikings undefeated in Pittsburgh, trailing by a field goal. Some lopsided games. The Colts look like they're going to stay undefeated. The Rams winless, as are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, playing over in London against Brady and the Patriots. Got word that Andre Johnson headed to the locker room for the Texans to follow up on getting the wind knocked out of him. But the long field goal by Chris Brown has added to the Texan lead. They have not trailed all afternoon. Deep for the 49ers, in the shadows, Michael Robinson. Hours short of the 30-yard line.
They've got plenty of time for a couple drives here. I'm going to be interested to see if they continue to spread it out. They continue to work from this slot formation to try to identify coverage.
They have
Houston.
Frank Gore, Brian, with Michael Robinson in the backfield. And Alex Smith is under pressure, gets it near the line of scrimmage to bring up second down and 10. Yeah, we talked about Michael Crabtree, the rookie from Texas Tech, making his debut. And he's been in on most of the plays for the 49ers.
Yeah, this is a very good start for a young man that hadn't taken a snap since last January. Vernon Davis, again, kind of their go-to guy. This bodes well for Michael Crabtree. It's going to be interesting to see how well he holds up now in the fourth quarter if indeed they've got to go to him in a clutch situation.
But the story of this game for the 49ers is Alex Smith, who's on the spot here. Can he rally them from 21-0? The quick throw to Josh Morgan is good for a first down. So that's 9 out of 11 so far for Alex Smith.
And again, we're seeing San Francisco going out of their normal mode. They've kind of spread themselves out with Alex Smith. Remember, Alex Smith made his name in that spread offense with Urban Meyer coming out of the University of Utah. So he's very comfortable in this environment. No back, 5-man protections, as many receivers as you can get out as possible.
Alex Smith, the 25-year-old former #1 pick in 2005, #1 overall. Graduated college 3 years with a degree in economics. Let's see if he can figure enough to get more points on the board for San Francisco. And it looks like he's going to need another timeout. Clock is still running.
I don't quite know why Mike Carey has not stopped, although they have. They've stopped the game clock, or what the confusion is.
So will they need to reset? Some time ran off.
I'm not quite clear what's happening here.
So there was not a timeout, apparently. And that's what Mike Singletary said. Did he call time or did he let the clock run down? Because Alex Smith casually walked over to the sideline.
Yeah, it looked like he turned to Mike Carey and called a timeout. I'm not quite sure.
The 49ers do have 2 timeouts in this half. They had to burn one earlier when he was confused on an offensive play, or he wanted to prevent.
He's walking off the field. It looks like he's telling Mike Carey, I want to call timeout.
But I don't see the physical. Do you have to physically show them?
No, you can tell him, look, I want a timeout here. No, you don't have to do the T signal for the timeout. That's an odd sequence there.
Well, they have Tony Raggi in at the tight end position. He's normally one of their backup guards on 1st and 15. Interesting formation here. He fakes to Frank Gore. And it's tipped away. Vernon Davis was the intended receiver. Eugene Robinson with a big play. That's Eugene Wilson, who made the defensive play for the Texans.
Here's that spread offense again that Alex Smith's so comfortable with.
The throw to Davis is hauled in. He's about 7 yards short of a first down. It'll bring up a 3rd down for the 49ers. Just under 6 minutes to go. And you see that hand motion. Is that signaling a
he's saying no, we're huddling up.
Okay.
He's saying whether they were ready to go to no huddle or not, that bringing of the fingers together, they're looking, are we going to go no huddle, which they're obviously prepared to do, or no, we're going to huddle up and make a huddle call.
They're 2 scores down, and it's getting a little louder in Texas.
But with 5 minutes, that one orchestrated drive, they've still got a chance here in putting this together. Again, now a spread out formation. This is clearly something that Alex Smith is very comfortable with.
Crabtree hauls it in.
Boy, you got to be impressed with his hands.
Especially
how strong
coming
he is.
from the throw came from the shade, Brian, and he was in the sunlight and he tracked it all the way.
And the ball was a little high. He has that knack for just snatching the ball. He must have incredibly strong hands.
Well, he played high school basketball and was actually offered scholarships from some major colleges to play hoops, but Crabtree wanted to be an NFL receiver and caught looks like the back end of the football.
Very strong hands. This is an impressive start for a young man.
His 5th catch of the game. It's a first down for the 49ers. Delaney Walker, tight end, goes way out to the right for Alex Smith. 2 receivers on the left side in the shade. Josh Morgan has it.
Josh Morgan came out of training camp last year, and they were very impressed with this young man. He had an illness. I'm not quite sure. I forget what it was, but he ended up losing some weight. Didn't have much of a rookie season last year, but he's a good big athlete. You combine him now with Michael Crabtree. The 49ers have some potential to expand on this, and clearly if Alex Smith is going to stay as their quarterback.
23-yard pickup. Morgan, a 6th-round draft pick last year, lost his starting job to Crabtree, but is the most improved player, according to Mike Singletary this year. On first down. Smith down the middle, and he's got a 49er touchdown. That's Vernon Davis again, 3 for 3.
And the same little skinny nod post. The 3 touchdowns have been almost carbon copies of one another.
23 yards, Alex Smith to Vernon Davis, and Vernon came in as the leading receiver on this team. Mike Singletary named Vernon Davis the team captain this year. And certainly his attitude and his ability, reasons why.
You're going to see Vernon Davis coming in here with, now watch this little nod to the post right here. You really can't see it until run it back if we can. We'll give you another look at it. I apologize for that. That's my fault.
That's all right. The extra point is good. Rich doing Bob Center, trying to give you all the coaching.
I know they're doing a great job. This is just 3 verticals. You got Vernon Davis coming from the inside slot. He's going to go vertical. Vernon Davis with just a subtle nod. That nod is as much to tell the quarterback, I'm ready for the ball, right over the top of the defender. That's a great throw.
Yeah, I was going to say there's not a lot of room to drop that ball in, but Alex Smith did it perfectly.
Nice touch, and I tell you what, we can't overstate what a fundamental difference it is for this 49er team to be operating this way.
You know, Brian, this is a battle of great tight ends. This might be like an MMA title battle, because Vernon Davis has 7 catches, 93 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And we've seen Owen Daniels all day come up with big plays for the Texans. But on the scoreboard with 3:43 to play, at one time, the 49ers trailed 21-0. Now they're trailing by 3, 24-21.
And you have to respect, you know, we've covered the 49ers a couple times. Mike Singletary setting a tone in training camp just for this type of game. Guys, 21-0. You stick together. You fight your way out of it. You have to be impressed with the way the 49ers have come back in this game, particularly if they can come back and win it. And it goes back to the basic fundamental vision that Mike Singletary has for this team.
Brian, you and I, when we met with the 49ers, we heard things on offense like verticality and big alert, and you figure that doesn't really apply to this team.
Well, that's what's even more impressive is, first, you know, Alex Smith did not have a lot of reps. And I guarantee you they only spent so much time in this spread offense because that's not who they are. They've been able to do this on very limited practice time, and we're going to see going forward, could this fundamentally change the philosophies the San Francisco 49ers have offensively. And
Joe Nedney kicks it to the Texans, and the dangerous Andre Davis from his goal line. And tough field position for Matt Schaub on the offense. For Alex Smith, a career day equaling the best game he's had, throwing 3 touchdown passes, tying his career high. And he hasn't even played a full half of football. Coming off the bench again, if you joined us late, Sean Hill healthy but benched after the first half when this 49er offense was shut out. Now the defense hoping for a hold, trailing by 3. Schaub on first down. Has time and throws low and incomplete. Let's check in down on the field with Michelle Turner.
Hey guys, I have a little bit of an update on Andre Johnson. We're told he has a chest injury. His return is questionable. He came back out here on the sideline. He had the entire medical staff around him and his helmet in his hand. They just took his helmet from him and they're walking him back to the locker room right now. Doesn't look good for him for the rest of the day. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Michelle, for being on top of that story. 2 catches in the game for Andre Johnson, who's now heading back into the locker room as he is walking that way. So Matt Schaub having to do it without his ace receiver, with Owen Daniels. Chris Brown is in the backfield. Second down. Pass is to Andre Davis, who has a first down.
And this is what Houston is built for, the ability to throw the ball when you have to. Matt Schaub, this is just a laser shot into Andre Davis. Question was going to be, were they going to be too conservative coming back, or be conservative coming out? Obviously not. Open up with 2 passes. They realize they cannot punt this ball back to now what is a very hot Alex Smith and 49ers offense.
And Schaub 20 out of 30, 265 yards and a couple of touchdowns. But an important drive here to play keep away. That's Walter in motion. Slayton carries and has room. Steve Slayton down the sideline. Patrick Willis may have saved a touchdown or at least a bigger game.
And that now changes the complexion of the game with regards to 2:43 on the clock. If you can now run the ball effectively, here they just lead to the outside. Nice bounce to the outside by Steve Slayton. Gets around the edge, does a great job keeping in bounds, going down the rail. Now this is going to change the play calling for Houston.
And Slayton has had one of those roller coaster days. A couple of touchdowns. He lost a fumble, felt terrible. A big run here of 31 yards. On first down, they give it to Slayton again. And in there in a hurry is Patrick Willis. And if you're the 49ers coach, you say, well, at the very worst, we would only allow a field goal here, because then a touchdown and we have a chance to win the game.
Correct. Time is more of a factor now. Houston wanting to come away with the very first time. You want to suck as much time off the clock. The 49ers still have 2 timeouts. So they can do anything they want with regards to stopping the game. They're not going to do anything between now and the 2-minute warning. So it really becomes more of a match of, when do I use the timeouts? The 3 points become somewhat incidental based on, can I get another first down, make them start to burn my timeouts.
And they want to milk the clock. The Texans do. We have reached the 2-minute mark in the 4th quarter. 49ers trail by 3. The Texans have the football at the 2-minute mark, and Mike Singletary against Matt Schaub's offense. If your reputation is built on defense, you need a stop and you need a finish.
Absolutely, and time is a factor here.
Slayton carries, has a couple, and the clock runs as Justin Smith brings him down, and there is the timeout. Mike Singletary was upset about something on that 49ers sideline just before we hit the 2-minute mark.
I think he was upset that his defense let Slayton get to the outside and put it in this position. They're still a good 3, 4, 5 yards away from a comfortable field goal, because there again now, if you miss the field goal, if they don't convert here on 3rd down, you're giving the 49ers pretty good field position here, and the time is a factor as well. They got one more play. San Francisco clearly will burn their last timeout, and Houston, notwithstanding the yards they gain, has to decide whether they want to punt it or kick the field goal.
Chris Brown has made a 50-yarder. He, in his career, has hit from beyond 50, but then you're risking field position.
That's the concern right now, to give Alex Smith time and field position on what at that point would be a 3-point game.
And if you lined up right now, you're talking about maybe a 53-yarder, but it's 3rd and 8 here. Let's see what Schaub and the Texans call against this 49er defense. He throws it, it's tipped away, and what a play by Mark Roman, because it looked like he had Slayton open at the 37-yard line.
And they still now do not, they have one timeout left, so they did not have to burn a timeout. We'll have to see what Houston decides. This is risky, kicking a field goal from here. The trajectory of the ball could get blocked. If you miss it, then obviously you're giving the 49ers good field position. There could be a case to be made here that you go ahead and punt it, try to kick it out, and really pin the 49ers down.
It's a tough call for Gary Kubiak, but at this point, with the 49ers having one timeout remaining, it appears he's going to punt the ball and try to pin them deep.
Yeah, the field goal would be a little risky at this point.
But Alex Smith, what a spot. A guy at his first game this year has led the comeback, but now he's going to be in a 2-minute situation. There is a penalty flag, so they took a delay, obviously, to give Matt Turk a little bit more room.
Right, you're just buying some more room. The 49ers, like every team, go, no, we declined the penalty because we don't want to give you a chance to pooch punt this down inside the 10.
So the 41-year-old punter, plenty of experience in this situation. Let's see if he can drop the Niners inside the 10. Straight up, the fair catch. Arnaz battle, no Sun to worry about. He lets it bounce, and around the 15-yard line or inside that area is where the ball is down. A penalty flag is down back at the 35-yard line.
This will be interesting.
High drama in high definition here in Houston, Texas. The Texans try to protect a 3-point lead, and Mike Carey with the call.
During the kick, holding receiving team number 57. Half the distance to the goal. They keep the ball. 1st down.
Matt Wilhelm hurting the 49er field position with that penalty, so they'll back it up even more. But again, Brian, they only need a field goal, so they're really only about 50 yards away or so.
Alex Smith's very comfortable with it. This is kind of in his wheelhouse.
And is Alex Smith a guy who you would start next week at quarterback regardless of what happens on this drive?
It's going to be discussed. He's obviously given them a spark and a style of play that they have yet to show.
49ers have one timeout. Sean Hill started the game, benched at the half, and has watched a comeback. 3 touchdown passes from that man, all going to Vernon Davis. And Michael Crabtree, the debut of the 10th overall pick, 5 catches for 56 yards. But they want to get in position for Joe Nedney, who has made a 56-yarder in his career and a 50-yarder this year. It's getting noisy in Texas, and they're at their own 6-yard line.
Yeah, the crowd's going to be a factor here now. They'll go out of the gun, I would imagine, which helps you go with the silent snap counter. The lifting of the leg actually makes it a little bit easier.
Crabtree is way out on the left. Josh Morgan has it at the 15, leans forward with Dante Robinson right there. And it is a first down. Very calm and cool back there with the noise in the crowd is Alex Smith. Incomplete for Frank Gore. That'll stop the clock.
Well, and that was better than the completion because he'd have been tackled right away and the clock would have kept running. So
and I think he thought about running, but also the time off the clock.
Exactly. Wouldn't be worth the yardage he'd get out of it. So
now the way the Texans are playing defense here, Coach, at what point does Alex Smith have to go deep?
Well, yeah, at some point you're going to have to force the ball down the field. We're closing in under a minute. You're going to have to take a chance that you know, if it works, you're brilliant. If not, why the heck did you throw it?
Running out of time. 2nd and 10. Smith has a man. That's a first down and a sure-handed grab by Isaac Bruce.
And again, we're only talking about getting in field goal position here. They're going to kill it here real quick.
A quick spike with 50 seconds to go after a 22-yard pickup. And Isaac Bruce, the 4-time Pro Bowler, 16 years in the league, over 15,000 yards and 200 catches. But that may have been the biggest one for this team today.
Well, they're a good 25 yards away from any kind of realistic field goal attempt by Joe Nedney. Got plenty of time with 50 seconds.
This has been a spectacular performance by Alex Smith. Can he pull it off? Somehow got rid of it. The Texans had a hand on him.
Well, that was just a 3-man rush. You know, the 49ers, that's disappointing to get pressure on your quarterback with just a 3-man rush. Houston clearly playing the odds. They know the distance to go. They're not going to allow him a shot down the field if they can help it. In, you know, the old prevent defense, where does it prevent you from winning? But you match up man for man or try to be more aggressive, you leave yourself vulnerable with a Michael Crabtree and a Vernon Davis beating you one-on-one.
He needs at least 10 yards on 3rd down. He's going to try and run and go out of bounds, so it'll bring up a 4th down with 1 timeout remaining.
Well, you're looking. You go to your best players right now. Obviously, Vernon Davis has been the go-to guy. Michael Crabtree, this is kind of his deal. The ability to get not only the first down, but if you have to throw it underneath the first down yardage, for someone to make him miss and get the first down that way. So I'd say Vernon Davis or Michael Crabtree.
The 49er comeback hinges on this play. They need 5 yards. It's 4th down. They trail by 3. Penalty flag, and it looked like he wanted timeout.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Well, that's just going to kill you. That doubles up what you need for the first down.
Well, earlier in the same situation where we thought Alex Smith had called timeout, it was a substitution. They had too many men on the field is what the actual penalty was. Here, again, I don't know whether he didn't see the 25-second clock or it had gone down, but this just took not a guaranteed convertible 4th down, but now you're 4th and 11, 4th and 12. This is a tougher nut to crack here.
4th down. The Texans stop. They win. Alex Smith trying to keep the 49ers alive. He has time. It's intercepted. Eugene Wilson picks off Alex Smith's throw, and a penalty flag on the back end.
Now it was just a late hit. They're still going to keep the ball. It's just going to back them up 15 yards.
There was enough protection for Smith.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Houston, number 31, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Bernard Pollard got called for the penalty, but Eugene Wilson made the game-saving interception for the Texans.
Well, it turned out to be a great game. Obviously, Alex Smith is going to give San Francisco and Mike Singletary a great deal to think about on that plane ride home to San Francisco as to how they want to go forward.
You'll see them on Fox next week when the 49ers go to Indianapolis, and that may be one of those games, just like Gary Kubiak's offense, where you're going to have to score to stay in it.
Yeah, and they clearly show the order to do that. They're going to have to spread it out like they did in the second half. I don't know so far if San Francisco has shown the other way their capability of doing it.
So Matt Schaub, who came in with a quiet 14 touchdown passes to lead the NFL, has added to it, and the Texans have back-to-back wins for the first time this year. They go to 4-3. The 49ers off a bye week start slow and fall to 3-3, but Alex Smith replaces Sean Hill and ignites an offense that was sputtering.
Yeah, and like I said, this is going to cause some thought for the 49ers as to how they want to go forward.
Alex Smith revitalizing his career.